Today, we're diving into the incredible life of Dr. Anna J. Cooper. Her journey is just extraordinary. It stretches all the way from the era of slavery to the height of the civil rights movement. Her story, from 1858 to 1964, is a powerful lesson in the fight for education and what it means to make your voice heard against all odds. Take a look at these words. This powerful idea is now written inside every new United States passport. Think about that for a second. Her definition of freedom is now part of our national identity. That small detail tells you so much about her lasting impact. So let's get into the life that shaped this incredible voice. All right, so our story starts back in 1858 in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is where Anna Julia Haywood was born into slavery. Her mother, Hannah Stanley, was enslaved by a man named Dr. Fabius J. Haywood, who Anna believed was her biological father. So after the Civil War, emancipation opened up a whole new world. Anna later wrote about her mother's incredible sacrifice, how many an unbuttered crust was eaten just so she could get an education. At just 10 years old, she got a scholarship to the new St. Augustine's Normal School. She later married, but her husband tragically died just 2 years later, leaving her a widow at only 21. And this profound loss, in a way, actually set her on a new course, allowing her to pursue higher education with this really singular, intense focus. You know, her fight for equality started really early. At St. Augustine's, she immediately ran up against discrimination. The boys were being prepped for the ministry with advanced classes, but the girls weren't. Anna wasn't having it. She fought to take the same rigorous courses, like Greek. This early battle pretty much ignited a fire in her that would shape her entire life's work as a champion for both racial and gender equality. So, as a young, determined widow, Anna J. Cooper didn't shrink away from the world. No, she did the opposite. She set her sights on the highest levels of education that were even possible for her. And that journey would truly set her apart. She ended up at Oberlin College, which was one of the first schools in the country to admit both Black and female students. But even there, she faced a choice. Take the standard ladies course or the much tougher gentleman's course. Well, you can probably guess which one she chose. She insisted on the hardest, most rigorous classical education they had to offer. And that choice? It paid off big time. She earned her bachelor's in mathematics in 1884, and then just 3 years later, a master's degree in the same field. I mean, this was absolutely groundbreaking. It made her one of the very first African-American women in history to earn a master's degree. With that advanced degree in hand, she moved to Washington, D.C. and took a job teaching at the famous M Street High School. This was the very first public high school for Black students in the entire nation. And this is where Anna J. Cooper would really begin to build her legacy as a towering figure in education. Those years she spent in Washington, D.C. were absolutely transformative. It was here that she took all of her knowledge, all of her experience, and channeled it into work that would echo for generations to come. Then, in 1892, she published her first and most famous book, A Voice from the South. And it was exactly that, a collection of essays that dove headfirst into the biggest issues of the time: race, gender, and why education for Black women was absolutely critical. This book wasn't just important, it was revolutionary. Today, it's seen as one of the very first books to lay out the core ideas of what we now call Black feminism. She was talking about intersectionality, how race, gender, and class all collide, decades before that word even existed. She saw that these weren't separate fights, they were one and the same, especially for Black women. Her whole educational philosophy can really be boiled down to this one powerful line from her book. She wasn't arguing against educating Black men, not at all. She was making a demand that Black women and girls had to get the same level of investment and opportunity because she believed their progress was the key to progress for everyone. In 1901, she took over as principal of M Street High, and she didn't waste any time. She put in a tough classical curriculum designed to get her students into the best universities in the country. This flew in the face of the racist belief that Black students should only get job training, and she succeeded. Her graduates were getting into places like Harvard and Yale. But she called this her courageous revolt, and that's what it was. It put her on a collision course with the DC School Board, and they forced her to resign in 1906. But if you think a professional setback like that was going to stop her, well, you don't know Anna J. Cooper. Her personal quest for knowledge never, ever stopped.
If anything, it just got more intense, pushing her towards the highest achievement in all of academia.
So she started working on her doctorate at Columbia University, but then in 1915, her life took a huge turn. She was 57 years old when she paused her studies to adopt and raise the 5 young children of her late brother. I mean, just imagine that sacrifice. But even then, she didn't give up on her dream. She eventually transferred her credits to the legendary Sorbonne in France and took on the incredible challenge of writing her dissertation in French. So picture this, it's 1925. After a decade of juggling work, raising a family, and studying, Hannah J. Cooper stands before the faculty at the University of Paris. She's 67 years old, and she successfully defends her dissertation on France's attitude toward slavery during its revolution. This was just a monumental, historic moment. At an age when most people were thinking about retirement, Dr. Hannah J. Cooper became only the 4th Black woman in the entire history of the United States to earn a PhD. So now, armed with her doctorate and a lifetime of fighting on the front lines, Dr. Cooper cemented her place as one of the most important public intellectuals of her time. This right here is probably her most famous and powerful idea. What she's saying is that the true measure of progress for the entire Black community is the status of its women. When Black women are able to rise in what she calls their quiet, undisputed dignity, then and only then does the entire race rise with them. And for her, writing and thinking were never enough. It was always about action. She was a relentless organizer. She co-founded groups like the Colored Women's League. She spoke at major international conferences in Chicago and London, and she established YWCA and YMCA branches for Black people who were shut out of the main organizations. And you might think after all that, she'd finally take a break, but slowing down just wasn't in Dr. Cooper's DNA. She kept on teaching and leading for decades, building a legacy that is still so inspiring today. After she retired from M Street School in 1930, she immediately took on a new role, president of Frelinghuysen University. This was a school created specifically for working Black adults in DC who wanted a higher education. She ran that university for over 20 years, and there were times she had to hold classes in her own house because the school couldn't afford a building. That's dedication. When you just step back and look at the timeline of her life, it is just staggering. She was born into slavery in 1858. She earned a doctorate from the Sorbonne at age 67, and she lived to be 105 years old, passing away in 1964, the same year the Civil Rights Act was signed into law. Her life literally bridges the gap from legal bondage to a whole new chapter in the fight for freedom. So we're left with this powerful question. Her voice is now everywhere, from a postage stamp to that quote inside our passports. In her life gives us the answer. It happens through sheer, unwavering intellect, unshakable courage, and a deep, profound belief in what she called the cause of humankind.